What? This man's a Pokemon? He's a Pokemon fan? He's talking the new Pokemon games? What? Since when? I mean, I have done Pokemon stuff on this channel before. I have done videos on Pokemon. I've had some videos talking about the anime blow up way back in the day. I need to catch up on the anime. Which, I need to catch up on the anime, and then I realized, damn, I need to catch up on a lot of games I haven't played, and then I realized, damn, there's a lot of games coming out this year that are looking to be really good games, and now we have a new Pokemon generation on top of that backlog. Damn, I got my work cut out for me. Oh boy, that's a whole thing. The backlog video I keep trying to hype up. That's a whole thing I'll get to. We'll get to that when we get to that later down the line. Point is... Actually, before we get to that point, preface before that point. This is unscripted video, so this is off the cuff. The obvious, this is my opinion, a lot of subjective takes, just my thoughts and feelings regarding this new announcement so far. Because of that, even though that should go without saying, it's the fact that it's my opinion, it's subjective take, that really should go without saying with literally anything I say, other people say, etc., not just with Pokemon. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, because of the fact that I've skipped out so far on a lot of the Switch Pokemon titles. I am a Pokemon fan. I do like Pokemon a lot, believe it or not, ever since elementary school, basically almost as much, if not just as much as Mario. Pokemon I've grown up with a lot over the years. I love a lot of the games. Played basically every generation up until Sun and Moon. I have not played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I played an hour of Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. I did not play Sword and Shield, did not play its DLC, did not play BDSP, did not play Legends Arceus either. So a lot of the Switch Pokemon titles I have missed out on, like a lot of the recent modern ones. Sun and Moon was like the last one I actually played through a large chunk of main campaign, post-game, etc. I am missing out on a lot of the modern, recent Pokemon titles. And everything, like, all the opinions I have based on, like, the newer games beyond Let's Go, I guess. But as far as, like, remakes go for those, and then, like, Sword and Shields, like, new generations and whatnot, Legends Arceus being a new step for the franchise, that whole thing, I can only give an opinion based off, like, a spectator's perspective, I guess you could say. I haven't played the game, so I can't really give that deep, that much, that detail-heavy of an opinion based on those, because I haven't played those games yet. But I've been there for trailers and people talking about the games, hyping up, bashing on them a lot, especially in the case of Sword and Shield. Okay, I'll speak on Legends Arceus first, because a lot of people did like that game a lot, because it was a solid step forward for the franchise. It has its faults, it has its flaws for sure, but that was a game where a lot of people came together and like celebrated that like it was a genuine attempt at pushing the Pokemon series forward. And that leads us to Scarlet and Violet, which I guess we could start with graphics first. Oh, that's a whole can of worms. Just talk about the graphics for the game, because you know Pokemon fans and their graphics point with how vivid the colors are with one side, and then the other will point to the tree. And personally speaking, right? Sword and Shield and how that game looked, and I guess most of the other Pokemon games on Switch. BDSP, I think, is a special case of it not looking particularly good, but with Sword and Shield and Let's Go and Legends Arceus, those games look fine to me. Like, they look graphically fine, but on a technical level, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it and you look at how much more the franchise could look, like, it's like a solid, like, 6 out of 10, or like a C. It's hard to explain. I feel like the graphics for most of the Pokemon games on Switch, they look okay enough, but they could definitely look a lot better. I think that's where most people sit, whether some more, like, passively, or others more aggressively. Like, Pokemon could stand to look better than how it does now on Switch. But with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, now, I'll just speak for myself. I think these games look kind of good. Like, this, at the very least, this game is a genuine, definite step up visually, presentation-wise, art style-wise, textures, details, lighting, like graphics all around is a genuine step up from Sword and Shield and how it looked initially. I don't know how much better Sword and Shield looked after it came out compared to the trailers, so I'm basing it more off pre-release stuff. But I do think this game looks genuinely better than how Sword and Shield looks, and it actually looks like a Pokemon game that should be on Switch, because, like, again, you have all this detail out here. It's more vivid and more stylized than Sword and Shield, between the textures and the models for the characters too. Oh, I also like how it's based off Spain, this new region. I don't know what it's called, but it's based off Spain, and it's like very vast and open. Like, it looks very appealing. Like, if generally the presentation's very nice, you got some nice colors, very vivid. The way the towns look, some mountains here and there, of course, some textures here and there look washed out, and like some backgrounds, but other backgrounds you have more details and like better rocks, mountains, and whatnot. I think the graphics for this game actually look like genuinely solid. And of course, you have like some pessimistic people. It's like, damn, people are like praising Game Freak and Pokemon Company for meeting the standard / bare minimum that they should have hit in 2018, 2019. It's like, I kind of agree Pokemon should have looked at like around this level come 2018, 2019. Of course, everyone has like different tastes and strokes for different folks with the graphics. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole can of worms again with Pokemon and graphics, and that's just one facet of these new games. But on the whole, for me, I think the game's presentation and graphics do look genuinely solid. For me, being at a point where a Pokemon game looks like how it should look on Switch, I'll celebrate, just because like we haven't gotten to that point yet. Legends Arceus was kind of getting there. This one, to me, I feel like it looks like a Pokemon game that should be on Switch. They have confirmed it's open world. Welcome to the open world of Pokemon. Embark on an open world adventure in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, arriving on Switch. It's all in late 2022. It's really making me like wonder and ponder stuff regarding the gameplay structure of the game. Because, I mean, obviously Legends Arceus was a whole departure from the standard formula and like the story and like all these research tasks and whatnot, this whole feedback loop and everything. But yeah, you could tell, I mean, like, obviously you could tell it's open world. With Sword and Shield, it was, like, still pretty dang linear outside the wild area. So them going full throttle with the open world aspect in a proper new generation, like with Legends Arceus, that's also obviously a very good thing. Something with Pokemon, though, with, like, catching wild Pokemon, if they transport some of the research tasks that, like, necessary feedback loop with like having you do stuff and tasks throughout the whole world, I think that would help the game a decent amount, if not just catching Pokemon. I don't know. Again, take it with a grain of salt because I haven't played Legends Arceus, so I don't know how. Definitely lacking on the education and knowledge and foresight. I guess the most I could say is them fully embracing the whole open world aspect of Pokemon is good. That, and you could tell just from all the locales in the trailer too. With Sword and Shield, you could tell there was some very straight paths. Like, you could tell it still had that same like route structure other games had. Here, essentially every single place was like this massive sprawling world. I mean, like the very first shot with the Pokemon Center in the center, all these varying like layers and mountains and landscapes with the rainbow. That, like, a lot of it is like very solid world and level design, and beyond catching the Pokemon too, it's just a matter of hoping there's going to be stuff to do. I think that's really what it comes down to, because as long as there's enough stuff to do, which like with Pokemon I feel like, especially after Legends Arceus, there should and there probably could be plenty of stuff to do, even beyond just the whole gym structure of the game. And hopefully that works. I'm also wondering too, and this is something other people have theorized too, if it's the gym structure again. Is this going to be a Pokemon game to where you can do gyms out of order and the game could potentially scale depending on where you go? Because I think that would add a lot of replay value and quality of life to the game itself and make it stand out more to other Pokemon games. Because I think the closest game that did that was Gen 1, which like you could visit some gyms and towns out of order in that game, but the levels were still fixed to a specific set, to where one gym was still going to be stronger than the others regardless of which one you would visit first. So one idea people are throwing out there, one theory, is if it's a gym-based structure like other Pokemon games, that you can visit other gyms and locations around this new Spain-based region, and Pokemon you meet, as well as trainers you fight, and at the very least the gyms you go to scale, which I don't know if they would even do that though. I don't know. Again, I have not played the recent game, so it's hard for me to tell. I feel like people have mentioned something along the lines of how well scaled BDSP's trainers are, even though that was outsourced to a different company. I don't know how well the scaling is or the difficulty is with a Legends Arceus either, but it would definitely be an interesting thing for this game if they had a scaled progression-based system based around where you, the player, travel around in this world. That would make this game a lot more interesting, I think, for a lot of people. I don't know if they're going to do it, but it is something worth considering and wondering if they would ever do that for a mainline Pokemon, which they probably should. I guess the only real negative thing I have to say is the designs for the new pro tags. Show me someone with less drip than this, dog. I mean, like, Pokemon designs is one thing. Actually, the Pokemon, okay, looking at the trainers' models in-game, that's another reason I also think the art style and, like, general direction for the graphics is better. I think the models in this game are definitely a lot better than most other Pokemon games we've got on Switch, at least with Sword and Shield. The model quality for the characters in-game reminds me of New Pokemon Snap. And New Pokemon Snap's a gorgeous-ass game. So, the closer we get to how good that game looks for mainline Pokemon, that's also another big dub in my book, visually. But, the designs for these ones, I think they're trying to aim for the whole, like, schoolboy and schoolgirl look. Like, school might be a whole focus for this, which I think makes sense. That doesn't take away from the fact that these trainers have absolutely zero drip. Visually, design-wise, like, they don't... I mean, visually, it's one thing. Design-wise, I don't think they look good. I don't think they look good. They don't look good or cool at all, dude. And, like, Sword and Shield's, like, main pro tag design were also kind of mixed as well. Beyond the female pro tag, I think. But I feel like this is worse. I guess, okay, this one's a mixed bag. I guess by extension, we'll talk about the new starters. What's it? It's like this grass cat, this, like, derpy, goofing looking crocodile, and this duck, bro. Okay. The cat looks basic as hell to me. I'm not feeling the cat. I'm slowly feeling this, what's it called? I'm forgetting the names off the top of my head, but this crocodile-looking one, I'm slowly feeling that. The duck, at least, I think the duck looks okay. The duck looks cool. But, like, okay. Again, I'm feeling 2 out of the 3 starters more as time passes, but I don't know if it's just me, dog. I feel like the starters the last 2 generations have been, like, some of the weakest in all of Pokemon. Fuecoco's the name of the fire one, and Quaxly's the name of the water one. I'm forgetting the grass one. What the hell is the name of the grass one? Sprigatito! Jesus Christ. Sprigatito's the name of the grass cat one. The grass cat one looks a little basic. Fuecoco, I like it's this derpy-ass looking fire crocodile that apparently just does its own thing. I could name it after my dog, low-key, and either way, I'm just like, oh, Fire K-Roll, basically. The duck, I think, is probably the fan favorite for a lot of people, because it's literally just this poised, like, Donald Duck, basically. But they all look cute. For me, it's between Quaxly and Fuecoco, I think, as for which one I'm going to choose. I hope their final evolutions are banger. Yeah, no, like, with other generations... Most of the other generations, like, there was that one Pokemon where I was... At least one Pokemon where I'm like, I want that one. I really want to pick that one. Like, with Gen 7 Rowlet, that was literally Rowlet for almost everyone. It's like, you look at Rowlet and they're like, that's the one. That's the one. Like, you just know how good a design is for a starter, or how appealing it is, just by the fact that, like, you're always going to have one person who will just be like, I want that one. Me, back in Gen 1, Charmander, I want that one. Cyndaquil, Mudkip, Torchic, like, I haven't gotten that with either Gen 8 or Gen 9, like, I'm having this, like, I have to pick and choose where it's like, okay, maybe I could kind of vibe with them, but it's not, like, that kind of, like, pick and choose to where, like, oh, they're all so good. It's that kind of pick and choose to where, like, you don't feel too compelled to pick one over another out of sheer want or appeal, or, like, really good design. This is me, again, subjective. And these starters look better than the Gen 8 ones, in my opinion. The duck, I think the duck is the closest thing to that appeal, where I'm like, I think I could probably pick Quaxly just because of how it looks. It looks like this poised, neat-looking duck. And I think they did describe Quaxly as this Pokemon that like, cares a lot about, like, finer details and, like, looking well-presented. Kind of like Dartrix. Nothing about the last 2 generations starters in particular strike me as incredibly appealing or incredibly, like, eye-catching or attractive to the point where, like, I have to get this one. I have to get this new grass starter. You know what I mean? It's that weird mix. Like, it's not bad. I don't think they're bad designs per se, but it's not, like, eye-catching. It's hard to explain. That whole thing I can imagine pissing people off in the comments, but I don't know if there's a whole lot for me to add to this discussion other than the fact that, like, I'm, like, generally, like, warmly, cautiously optimistic about this new Pokemon game. The fact it's coming out this, like, I mean, it coming out this year doesn't surprise me. Pokemon being the multimedia conglomerate it is now, having to worry about coalescing and, like, aligning various releases between the games, the anime, the trading card games, other products, side spin-offs, like Pokemon Go and shit, like, they have to align all this stuff together with one another to promote new material alongside the rate they keep distributing all this stuff. That and like a lot of Pokemon projects are developed by bigger teams. At least with the main games, people say BDSP is rushed. That was outsourced by a different company, but like Sword and Shield, even aspects of Legends, like people regard some Pokemon games, at least the recent ones, as rushed, which is valid. Don't get me wrong, but Pokemon has always like outsourced to different developers and had multiple teams working on multiple projects at once. So like them releasing a new generation this year, that doesn't surprise me too much. But like off the heels of Legends Arceus, okay, that makes me feel bad for Legends Arceus because I feel like that game deserves more spotlight with how much love and praise that game's getting. But also because I'm hoping this game is a really good generation for a lot of people. Because we all know how mixed Sword and Shield was. I mean, Sword and Shield was the fastest selling Pokemon game. A lot of people still bought it. We all know the whole controversy surrounding Sword and Shield. We'll just put it at that. But I'm hoping with this new Pokemon game, people will get a fuller, more satisfying experience with this. Because so far with what we have right now, it seems to be going more open world than Sword and Shield. Its design seems better than Sword and Shield, like just from the world design, like the level design. Visually, art style wise, it's a definite step up. It's that same like tradition as the second generation of each Pokemon game per system. From Black and White / Black 2 White 2 compared to Diamond and Pearl. Or Sun and Moon compared to X and Y. Those games looked better than the first generations that came out on that system. This is following the same, like this looks better compared to Sword and Shield. And it's like the second generation of a new Pokemon title. Like it looks like a Pokemon game that belongs on Switch. Between visual appeal, presentation, art style, textures, lighting, general graphics, it could definitely look better. Could definitely look better. But for what we got right now, I think it's definitely satisfactory. More satisfactory than how Sword and Shield looked. Level design, it's open world. If the gameplay's even halfway like Legends Arceus, to where it's that fast-paced, seamless flow from battling, sneaking up on trainers, to going back into the exploration and going back into the outside world, vice versa. If the pacing, I think, to me, from an outsider spectator's perspective that hasn't played Legends Arceus, I think that's what's going to matter the most. If the pacing is there from Legends Arceus, then this game's essentially set by a pretty good margin. We still have yet to know other new Pokemon. We still yet to know gym leaders. We've still yet to know if they're going to keep the gym leader structure, which it probably will. We've yet to see like rivals, evil organizations, Elite Fours, champions. Oh, another interesting thing to wonder too is how many Pokemon are going to be compatible with this? Because we see Hisui and Zoroark in one of the screenshots in the game. So that confirms there's going to be cross-compatibility with Pokemon Legends and Pokemon Home. I mean, that much is obvious, but that also makes you wonder how many Pokemon are going to be compatible with this one. It makes me wonder if all the Pokemon are going to come back, because like that was the first primary criticism with Sword and Shield, and then like other problems with Sword and Shield arose out of that, beyond the graphics too. If you have most of the Pokemon compatible in this new one, that's obviously going to help for most people, because I mean everyone has a favorite, and it makes the meta and like gameplay more interesting with how much Pokemon you could, not just you could catch, but mainly how many Pokemon you could transfer. And having this Pokemon be the game where like you can basically unify every single generation together, that'd be pretty cool. There's reason for me to have some faith in this new one, even with the very soon time frame of this coming out in just short of a year. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they look like pretty solid entries in the Pokemon formula. I could see some ideas they have on display. I could see them working very well so far. There's plenty for me to look forward to Scarlet and Violet. Could they mess up? They very well could. There could be other stuff about this game we do not know about. They're holding out on us that like could hype us up, but there's also stuff about that could make or break this game, could ruin subsets or parts of this game. I don't know. We gotta wait until we see and hear more about this game and wait until it comes out. How are you guys feeling about this whole Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet Gen 9 reveal? You hyped for this? Do you think this looks any better? Leave you any more reason to be more hyped for this than with Sword and Shield? Or do you think this could be potentially worse than Sword and Shield? Maybe you're not into Pokemon enough anymore to care. Maybe Sword and Shield or BDSP left you jaded. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I'm keeping my eye out for this one. I think I'm keeping my eye out more for this one than I think I did with Sword and Shield. Because, like, Sword and Shield, I think, had an initial, like, optimistic side. And then come E3, where they announced all the Pokemon weren't coming. That was one. And then the graphics for the game, that was the other one. And then the game came out. And then the story. And then, like, stuff the game tried to, like, hype up. And then it didn't let you do it. And then the linearity of it. Yada, 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 yada. Again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Because I'm just judging it from a spectator's perspective. Just watching what everyone says and hears and feels about this game. It's all controversy, basically. But now with this new one, there's not a whole lot yet. There's not really a lot, much at all, for me to be hesitant or pessimistic, very negatively critical than I am. Just sort of sitting. Cautiously optimistic, not worried, not really that worried. Just patient. I'm willing to see what they have left to announce for this game, because if they have less than a year, I could see. I hope they adopt the Sun and Moon model of marketing this game, because I mean, knowing Pokemon, actually no, I take that back, because Sun and Moon, they announced basically everything that game had to offer between Z moves, exclusive Z moves, new characters, new Pokemon, story stuff, characters, villains. Like, they announced everything before the game came out, but they did it in like a slow, like almost bi-weekly format. We got like new Pokemon info almost like every week or two, so like that was cool. But like at the same time, Sword and Shield kind of did this thing to where it marketed some new stuff, but it didn't reveal everything about this game. And well, actually, I forget if Sword and Shield did that. I think Sword and Shield did that. I know Legends Arceus 100% did that. It didn't reveal everything the game had to offer, and a lot of people appreciated that. So I take back what I said about it adopting the Sun and Moon model. If they reveal everything about this game, then yes, I do hope they adopt the Sun and Moon model of them marketing everything, but like the slow drip feed method of just giving us a small like crumb every bi-weekly or so. Other than that, what I really want them to do, just do what they do with Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus' marketing. Like, you could give us like some new trailer every like month or two. E3 is probably the next time we're gonna see a next major bombshell regarding this game. So we'll probably get a better look at what this game has to offer regarding new Pokemon, and especially gameplay then. But yeah, no, take your time. Take your time. Game Freak, Pokemon Company, take your time with this. I know you gotta align this with like releasing other new Pokemon stuff, but no, take your time with this one. Just make sure it's good. Just make sure it's a proper, good Pokemon game. Make it to where it's a better experience than Sword and Shield. I feel like that at the very least is something a lot of Pokemon fans will vibe and appreciate a lot. And yeah, I hope a lot of new Pokemon design slap. I hope the gameplay structure takes a slightly different approach, like the open world nature. I really hope it dives into that. And I hope it potentially ties into the structure for the gyms as well, assuming gyms are in this game. I don't know, there's a lot that could be good or bad about this game. We'll wait and see. I don't know. I've rambled for long enough, especially considering I haven't played a lot of the new Pokemon games to even tell properly. I don't know. Probably gonna get a lot of heat and dirt in the comments. I don't care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Happy Pokemon Day. Stay super.
哟，嘿，妹妹，嘿，我来呀！共和大哈哈呀！拉面，嘿，来面，来个面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，叫手面，谢谢。